In 2003, when President Kibaki took office, he started under very difficult circumstances. Some of you will recall that a few weeks earlier, at the beginning of December 2002, just as we were winding up our campaigns, he was involved in an accident. It was a very worrying time for us because healing is not an easy process as you advance in age. But with one broken arm and one broken leg and a few fractured ribs, somehow we pulled through. And as he healed, we saw the nation healing as well. As he improved, we saw the economy improving. His health improved, the economy improved. And at some point, he made remarkable progress in health, and the economy just took off. And as Pastor Kamal said earlier, some things in life are symbolic. They happen simultaneously. When God wants to prepare you for a great task, he first slows you down so that you can think about the future and rethink your vision. And I think that was what was happening at that time. He was given an opportunity to just stop his campaign and to sit and think. When you are given this opportunity to lead 37 million Kenyans, what are you really going to do with them? How are you going to shape their lives? What is going to happen? When you're entrusted with the lives of all these people, how are you going to transform their lives? And really, we have seen a tremendous transformation over the last 4.5 years. I see a lot of young people here. I was a student here in Massachusetts many years ago. I'm quite old, actually. So I didn't leave many of you here when I was here, and I think, you know, a lot of the young people probably don't even know the history of their president. I don't know if they know that he's currently the longest serving member of parliament. He was elected to parliament at the dawn of independence in 1963. He has gone through 9 general elections, because after every 5 years we hold elections, and he has always been re-elected as a member of parliament. And this year, he is actually going to stand for his 10th and final general election. I am a registered voter in his constituency in Othaya area. We are going to re-elect him as a member of parliament. And what we're sincerely hoping is that the rest of the country will join us in re-electing him as president of the nation. I can sincerely say that if presidential candidates are solely judged by the work they do in their constituencies and the developments in their constituencies, then President Kibaki is miles ahead of the rest. I said he is standing for his 10th general election and final one. And 10 is a very important number in his CV. He served from the early 60s until mid-70s for 10 years as Minister for Commerce and Industry, those of you who've been following his political career. Then he served for 10 years as Minister for Finance and Economic Planning. Then he served for 10 years as Vice President. So it's only logical that he should serve for 10 years as President. If those other presidential contestants had actually been following the president's political career closely, then they would realize that at no time did he ever mention to them or anybody that he was going to be a one-term president, because it just does not fit into the rest of his CV. I'd like to just give you a little bit of insight into the person he is, because a lot of people just see him on television or read about him in the newspaper. What I have come to realize throughout my entire life, because actually he became a member of parliament when I was just a few months old, and we've always known him in our family to just do that, to serve Kenyans. He's never been interested in doing business, not interested in being a farmer, not interested in many other things, just politics and being a servant of the people. We know him to be a person who thinks very, very deeply about this country and to always be concerned about the needs of Kenyans. And he holds each and every Kenyan's welfare very close to his heart. And as Mwende said earlier, I think every single Kenyan has been touched in one way or another by the work the President has done, not just in the last 5 years, but since 1963. We, as a family, are actually reaping the goodwill of that work. Everywhere we go in Kenya, people greet us happily, in a very warm way. Some of us come up to us, people we don't even know, and they say to us, you know, your father helped me with this and that. Do you know, when I had this and that problem, he helped me. When my child was out of school because I didn't have school fees, he paid fees. When my mother was ill and she needed a kidney transplant, he helped me. And these are people we don't even know. So it's not something that he started, and this is a message for the youth. It's not something that he started 5 years ago, helping people because he wanted to be president. Becoming a president starts at a very, very early stage. So if I were youthful once again and going to the ballot for the first time, I would ask myself, what has my favorite candidate done for this country in the last decade, or even the last 20 years? Our president thinks far and wide about everybody. When I came here last year, I came with some other people in our Street Families Rehabilitation Trust Fund. That was one of his initiatives. Wilfred and Midondo talked about Nairobi being a very clean and very rehabilitated city. I'm sure many of you, when you left, if you haven't been back recently, you remember before 2003, there were street families. There was a reflection of the decline of our economy. People had been thrown out of their homes because they couldn't pay rent. Others had lost their homes because they couldn't finance their mortgages. And thousands of people had lost their jobs. They'd been laid off because the economy had collapsed. And their last resort was to move out and live on the streets. Not just children. I'm not talking about the street children. I'm talking about grown-ups as well. Entire families were living on the streets. And now that is a thing of the past. In the last 4 years, all those families have been rehabilitated. The president has taken 600,000 people off the streets of Nairobi and other urban centers and rehabilitated